Hello, everyone. Let me ask you a quick question. Is organization for you about the tools, the devices, the software products, all of the different things we use? Or is it about you as an individual and how you approach the world, how you engage with the world? We're going to answer that question in this video. For those of you new to the channel, my name's Ed Finn and welcome. For those of you who have been with me for a while, you might already know kind of what we're about. We're about organization. We're about how you organize your daily tasks at work, in your personal life, all the different devices and platforms you use. But this video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to start talking about kind of what motivates you to change the way you approach organization. What are those pivotal moments that really challenge you and make you grow, make you reevaluate the way you are doing things in the moment? In this video, I'm going to talk about and tell you a story of a transformative time in my life. I'm hoping maybe this will be something that's helpful to all of you. And maybe this will be a recurring series where we share stories of transformation and really what organizing and change is all about. This year marks the 20th anniversary of my sister Angel's passing. She passed away when she was 15 years old and was just shy, a little bit less than a month and a half away from her 16th birthday. And the reason this was front of mind for me this week and why I'm filming this video is because that was a pivotal moment in my life. And there have been so many, and like I said, we can go into detail maybe on some other time, but I just wanted to talk about this one for a moment. I had been in retail for a long time. By that point, I was living on the East Coast. I wasn't here in Indiana when she passed. I had not seen her for quite a while. She had been there at the birth of my son Eddie, and then she had left and come back home to Indiana. And all of a sudden, I was working in a Target store and got a phone call from my mom saying that there had been an accident. I came home. It's a traumatic time. It's always a difficult loss to lose a loved one, to lose someone in your life that you know is pivotal, but you don't really realize how much until they're gone. And so I went back to the East Coast. I was there for a while, and I received a phone call from my mom who had said, come home. And I made that happen. So I came home. I was a single parent with my son, and luckily I had a good support structure. My family would watch him while I worked, and then I would come home after a third shift and pick him up, and we would hang out and everything, and it worked. But what it did, and this is not to downplay the loss, because trust me, you can't downplay these pivotal moments. They're so crucial to the way that you approach the world. But one thing, being a single parent, I made the decision at the same time to go back to school. I'd already had over 90 credit hours towards my bachelor's. I had left that for a career in retail. I'd been successful in that career. I was already organized in my professional life, but I really hadn't organized my personal life. And this was kind of that catalyst to really reevaluate things. I started thinking about what opportunities Angel wouldn't have, the things she wouldn't do. And it led me on a path and a journey to begin to reevaluate how I could change my life, how I could redirect my energy and my focus. And that led me going back to school. I moved back to Indiana in 2004. By 2005 in the summer, I had gained my associate's degree. Shortly thereafter, in December, I graduated with my bachelor's degree. And then I began this like crazy journey, and that's for another video, of really going all in on education. I really just wanted to take a minute and talk about why those moments in your life that are, they seem like there's no point to them until you string them together and you really start to look long term at how they affect who you are and what you do. And, people have often asked me, how do you get all of the things done that you do? I don't think there's a magic answer to that. I don't think it's some kind of crazy, um, secret. But you take things one step at a time. It's like the famous saying, "How do you eat an elephant?" Well, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Not that anyone should be eating elephants, but the idea of these huge monumental tasks that you're taking on and trying to do. I wanted to tell you that story because that same year when Angel passed, we began a scholarship fund, and that scholarship fund has now been giving students a little bit of money towards college for the last 20 years as of just the other day. And, we've managed to be able to give back as a family $11,500. Again, that's spread over 20 students. At first, it was $500, a one time gift, so it may cover your first semester of books. It grew then to $1,000 over the last few years. But the idea that that can cause someone to have a fundamental shift, because by all metrics, you could say, I was pretty successful. I worked for one of the largest retailers in the country, if not the world. I had a decent position, but I was working a lot of hours. And I began to think, what kind of toll was this taking on my role as a father, role as a son? Eventually, my life changed more and more. I met my wife, Melissa. We now have four boys, and my life changed again. And just to be very clear, we often hear, would you change anything? And obviously, if there was a way to have Angel back, that nobody's going to say they wouldn't change the loss of someone. But I think we can't do that. And so if we set ourselves in the frame of mind of, would I be the same person? Would I be doing the same things that I am doing had I not lived my experience? That's a different question. And this idea that we can even entertain the thought of going back and changing something that was traumatic, or changing something that was foundational to our growth, you can't do that. What you can do, and what I hope that I've done, and that I hope I continue to do, is learn from those experiences, grow from those experiences, learn what priorities are best for me and for my family, pass along that knowledge to our children, and really engage with people who are on a different journey or coming from a different place in life. And so I thought it was really important to share this story because it's never too late to change and reprioritize where you're at in life. I went from someone who was always chasing that next promotion, that next big thing, to trying to figure out how I could motivate not just myself, but the people around me in a way that was going to live longer, or to, for them to leave with something that was different. And I'm not a life coach. I'm not somebody who's going to say this is the perfect solution for everybody. What I am going to say is that when you think about your moments, what are they? What are the things that are most important to you? I'm going to do something I don't normally do on camera, which is I'm going to read a little bit from the short speech I gave in awarding the scholarship the other day. And I'm going to pull out just a few excerpts here, and maybe this will resonate with you. And if it does, please drop a note in the comments, share a personal story. That's what I really enjoy so far about this community. One of the quotes that I pulled out that I thought was really telling and that I told this group of seniors was from Nikola Tesla. And he says, every living being is an engine geared to the wheelwork of the universe. Though seemingly affected only by its immediate surrounding, the sphere of external influence extends to infinite distance. This idea that we're not alone, that our actions have consequences, that our effect on others around us, it speaks very much to me because of this lived experience, because of what happened with my sister and what path that set me on to eventually finish school and eventually meet my wife and have more children and do those things. All of those ripples, all of those currents that intersect between people, it really doesn't show itself in the moment. Once you look beyond the moment, everything changes. I pulled one more quote out of this, and that was by George Eliot. And George Eliot said, blessed is the influence of one true, loving human soul on another. So when talking about this, again, somebody who's true, somebody who cares, somebody who shows empathy, somebody who has good character, how they interact with the people around them and how they model that. And, on this channel, we'll probably talk at some point about leadership concepts and models as well. But the idea of modeling, not as a leadership principle, but just as um, a way of being and a way of engaging with the people around you is so powerful. Anyway, again, I just wanted to share this story. It was front of mind. It was something that I have found so impactful in my life. I'd love to hear in the comments from all of you who in your life has been influential. And I didn't cover everyone here. I mean, you all have heard me talk about Melissa and my kids before, and you've met Trey in a previous video. And I would hope that you would want to check that out to maybe see, kind of how his life has evolved and some of the things he talks about. Hopefully, this is sparked in your mind. Who are the people? What are the pivotal people? So it's not even just pivotal moments, but pivotal people. Who are the people who have inspired me? Who are the people who have caused me to re examine my priorities? And then out of that, how did I change? How did I pivot? How did I re examine my approach to organizing my time, to organizing my priorities, my values, my way of approaching the world, not just in the business context. The business context is important. Your work life is very important, but so is your personal life. Anyway, thank you. I hope you stuck around through the entire video. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment. The more comments you can give me, the better. And it's not because of the algorithm, although I think that that's a great thing, but I really want to hear your stories. That would mean the world to me, to know that we share something in common. But until next time, just remember, to be an agent of change, all you have to do is bring yourself and your views to the table. Have a great day.